Welcome to Here Comes the Boom, your go-to for all Kentucky basketball recruiting news. I'm just returning from Peach Jam, so we're going to have a ton of different updates from Peach Jam, especially on number one ranked Tyran Stokes, who there's been a lot of Kentucky buzz with. Before we get to that, be sure to go and subscribe to KSR Plus, subscribe to the KSR YouTube channel. We got tons of great content coming your way. Let's talk about Peach Jam. Before we get into what's the latest with number one ranked Tyran Stokes, I want to talk about a few players that caught my eye this week and caught the Kentucky coach's eye, starting with Bryson Howard. He's a player that already has a Kentucky offer, 6'5" forward out of Texas. And Kentucky had Mark Pope watching him, some of the assistants watching him. They were watching him the whole weekend. So he is a priority for Kentucky, and he told us he's close to setting official visits. He hasn't announced any of those dates yet, but Kentucky's expected to get one. Some of the other schools that are pushing for him, it's really a blue blood heavy recruitment with Kansas, North Carolina in there, and then you've got a school like NC State that's making a push. He's taken unofficial visits to Texas, Houston, and SMU, but he hasn't taken any of his official visits yet. So he's one to watch. He's one that really caught my eye this weekend and this week at Peach Jam. So another player, Baba Oladotun, the 6'8" small forward in the 2027 class, but he said he's considering a reclass into the 2026 class, and I think that could be likely. He's a really good player, number 4 in the Rivals industry ranking, number 6 in the Rivals rankings. So he's one of the top players in the 2027 class. If he does reclass into 2026, I'd expect him to move down in the rankings a little bit. Just he's not physically college ready yet. He's pretty skinny, but I think that the tools are there, the intangibles are there, that he could be a really good college player and potentially an NBA prospect. He's one of 3 players that Kentucky's offered in the 2027 class. He's got basically every blue blood is what he told me is recruiting him, all the nation's top programs, and he's planning an official visit to Gonzaga in October. No other visits planned, so Gonzaga is a school to watch there. Now I want to talk about a few players that Kentucky could end up offering. Bryson and Baba already have offers from Kentucky, but these next 2 players don't have offers yet, starting with TJ Jamison, a 6'2" point guard out of Louisiana. He was playing with JL3 Elite at the Nike EYBL Peach Jam, and Kentucky coaches were in attendance. It was Alvin Brooks and Jason Hart for basically every one of his games this past weekend, and he really played well. It would not surprise me to see him get an offer. He's right now ranked by the Rivals industry ranking as the number 5 point guard in the 2027 class and the number 27 overall player in the class. Wouldn't surprise me to see him move up in the ranking moving forward. Last player, before we get into the Tyran Stokes update, I want to talk about Maximo Adams out of Sierra Canyon. Small forward, 6'7", 200 pounds, number 46 overall player in the Rivals industry ranking, number 18 small forward in the class. And he hasn't heard from Kentucky yet, but he has some ties to the Kentucky staff because Mark Pope coached his older brother Marcus when he was at BYU. So Maximo's been familiar with Mark Pope for years, and Maximo had a good game with Mark Pope in attendance. So we'll see where things go from there. Right now he hasn't heard from Kentucky, but I would expect that to change pretty soon. Now let's get into what you guys all want to hear about. Tyran Stokes, number 1 player in the class, 6'7", 225 pounds. And before we get into his recruitment, I just want to talk about his game because he is so good. There's no other way to put it. He was the best player at Peach Jam, in my opinion. He just dominated. He had a couple slow games, and then he had one game where he went for something like 37 points and was just lighting teams up. So he was really great at Peach Jam, and Kentucky is firmly in the mix. They got an official visit back in June. He's also visited Kansas and Louisville. His mom told me that he's planning visits to Oregon, Gonzaga, and USC. They already have dates set, but she said people were waiting for them at the airport at some of these other visits. So she didn't want to have a scenario like that, so she's keeping the dates private. But 3 more official visits are set, and all the talk at Peach Jam was Kentucky's in a very good spot for Tyran Stokes. That seemed to be the consensus. I'm sure you've seen some other reports online about Kentucky being the leader. I'm not ready to call Kentucky the leader just yet, but there is a lot of buzz for Kentucky right now. And Tyran Stokes enjoyed his Kentucky visit. They went to Claiborne Farms while on that visit. His mom said that was a real standout from the trip. And Kentucky's in the mix. Louisville's in the mix. I haven't heard a lot of Kansas lately, but they did get him on an official visit. And then Oregon's a school that I'm watching among these three that are getting official visits coming up. So we'll see how these visits go. And his mom said that they're looking to make a decision before high school season starts. So things could move really quickly here heading into the fall. But yeah, in my opinion, best player in this class, and it's really not close. He was excellent over at Peach Jam. Now, we want to run through an official visit preview because we've had some new visits get set up and some visits get changed. So I'll start with Tyran Rippey, the point guard out of Blair Academy in New Jersey. He'll be visiting Kentucky August 1st through 3rd. He's got a long list of schools on him. He cut his list, but I think it was to something like 9 schools or 12 schools even. Yeah, so he cut his list to 12 schools, and he's got a ton of official visits coming up. So it's hard to sift through who's real, who's not. But I think Kentucky is real in this recruitment, and them getting one of the early official visits, if not the first official visit. I think they may be getting the first official visit. It matters a lot. So yeah, they are getting the first official visit. Looking at his schedule, so yeah, that means something. Getting the first official visit with Tyran Rippey, and feeling good about Kentucky's chances there as we head into official visit season. Then looking at September, we got Caleb Holt, who just moved his official visit back a week to September 12th through 14th. 6'5" guard at a Prolific Prep, which is now in Florida. He had to move back his visit. I talked to his dad. He said that was really not a concern. It was just the dates work better for the family. So they're not putting a visit into that 5 through 7 date that they had previously. It's not like somebody's coming in and stealing that visit date. So I'm not concerned about that. I've been hearing Alabama is another school to watch, and then Kansas, if they fall back with Tyran Stokes and make Holt a priority, could make a push there. So those are some schools I'm watching. Auburn also is getting an official visit. Then you got Christian Collins, who just scheduled his official visit to Kentucky last night. He's going October 12th. One of the top 10 player in the 2026 class. Really high riser over the spring and summer. Really was more of a 4-star player, and then became a bona fide top 10, top 5 player over the course of this spring and summer. He's also visiting USC, and he gave some interesting comments to me over the weekend, saying Mark Pope is like a proud dad because Pope was coaching him with Team USA. So he really enjoyed his time working with Pope, and now they're getting him on a visit. So we'll have to see where that goes. He didn't mention anything about a timeline or a timetable for commitment. So we'll have to see where they go from there. But that's really all the players that are top of mind right now. You got a long list of targets. We're going to have updates throughout the week with interviews from Peach Jam. But be sure to go and subscribe to KSR Plus, subscribe to the KSR YouTube channel, and we'll see you again soon.